Hi, welcome to Options for Everyone Mentorship intro video. In this, we'll be going to discuss about the topics which we're going to cover in this mentorship session and how it helps you to become professional option seller and also the bonuses that you'll be getting from us, which will enhance the trading abilities. So let's get started. So the topics which we're going to cover are overall 40 plus topics, in-depth topics will be covered, which includes few of the topics will be the beginner topics. From then we'll go into the advanced topics like from the option buying, right from the option selling, adjustments, firefighting strategies, hedging, and everything will be covered, including all the strategies which can be deployed in any kind of market conditions. Let it be weekly expiry or monthly expiry or intraday or on expiry day. So everything will get covered over here. And the access will be there for 1 year for this particular recording, and you can watch any number of times within that period of 1 year. And the bonuses that you will be getting are, you'll be getting 1 year access to institutional zones, leading intraday indicator. You're going to learn that one of the important thing in intraday strategies. Then you'll be getting 1 year access to our premium Discord community, where I'll be sharing all my ideas about my positions, like I'll be clearing off the doubts and then taking some regular Q&A sessions, etc. So those things also you'll be getting access. So now, what are the topics that will be shared in that 40 plus concepts? Now, it will be divided into 6 parts basically. So the part 1, every part has to be watched in the order wise only. You should not skip any particular order because it has been designed in such a way that if you are not able to understand part 1, it will be difficult to understand the remaining parts. So the first part will cover about like basics of the options and then strike price selection, the options. For most importantly, the intrinsic value of an option, how the option prices are being valued. So valuation of an option and intrinsic and extrinsic value of an option, it's very important to understand because this is where most of the things happens, like how even the option price goes to 0 and everything you will be understanding based upon this intrinsic value only. Then how to read the option chain data. The core concept for options is to read the option chain data, that too from the option selling perspective, not from the option buyer perspective, because most of the options trading, you need to look from the option selling perspective only. Then comes to the PCR and max pain, and there are difference between option selling and buying and what is more advantageous for expiry if you're holding till expiry or if you're holding on intraday basis, which one you can go for. These things also will be discussed. Along with that, you must understand clearly about option Greeks like delta, theta, and gamma and vega, because without understanding this, it will get difficult to understand the option selling strategies in detail. So that is important. So all these things are covered in the part 1 of the video. Then there will be part 2. Part 2 is entirely dedicated for the option buying. So there will be some buyers who are not still into selling. They just want to start up with the option buying. Maybe at a later point of time, they can go to the option selling, but only if you're having less capital, around let's say less than 50K capital. And if you're interested in option buying, then we have around 13 strategies will be there. All the 13 strategies are related to the intraday option buying, and every strategy will be explained using the examples and also the logic behind why you can apply that particular strategy and how to avoid when not to apply that particular strategy, how to find out a range bound markets and how to find a trending markets and how to write that particular trends based upon like pure price action plus CPR leading indicator, institutional zones leading indicator plus alert system. So all these things will be covered in the day 2, which is completely dedicated for the intraday option buying. Then from day 3, which from part 3 to part 6 onwards, we'll be covering entirely about option selling strategies only. So in the part 3, we'll be covering about option selling strategies like these are directional option selling strategies, which means you need to have some kind of a perspective as to, let's say, if this is a Nifty price, whether it has to go down or whether it will go upside, you need to have some perspective either on the directions. Based upon that, if you're having a bullish perspective, you can take this. If you're having a bearish perspective, you can take this. But what are the strike prices to select and when to deploy these particular strategies, when not to deploy these particular strategies, and what are the adjustments that you need to do and what are the ratio spreads. So these all things will be discussed along with these directional review strategies in the part 3. Then the part 4 will be having a non-directional view strategies like short straddle, short triangle, iron condor, and iron flies. These are the core option selling strategies which many professional option sellers do. Mostly short straddle and short triangle. Short straddle is mostly about intraday or for the expiry days, short triangle is more deployed in case of weekly and monthly option selling strategies, plus even on the intraday strategies as well. And short iron condor and iron flies are limited risk strategies, and these two are unlimited risk strategies. Of course, just because unlimited risk strategies means you are not like completely risking your capital, because always we can be knowing how to do the adjustments and how to maintain the range, so that even in case of a gap up and gap down market situation, you will not go into loss. But this is where consistent passive income can be generated, especially in the short strangle weekly and monthly strategies. And then just knowing the strategies will definitely not be enough, because strategies will just say like what to deploy and what options to buy and what options to sell. But majority of the things happens in case of adjustments and firefighting techniques, because option selling is having an unlimited risk. So in order to protect that risk, you need to know when to deploy the adjustments. Adjustments are not fun thing to do. You should not be deploying that as and when you need. Only if it is properly required, then only you must adjust your position. Otherwise, adjustment itself might bring you into a loss. And that to firefighting techniques, especially on intraday trading. I mean, when you are having a weekly position and intraday when the market is into trending mode, you can firefight that particular trend and then bring your strategy into no loss position, or you can change your positions also according to the market trend. So these things, when not to do and when to do, these all things will be discussed. Around like 5 to 6 adjustment techniques will be there. And I personally use one more adjustment technique, which I personally created for myself. That also I'll be sharing it. And then margin management. If you're having, let's say, 5 lakh rupees or 2 lakh rupees, can you deploy entire amount into option selling? Like how much money you need to keep in cash position so that you can deploy the adjustments as and when needed. So these all margin management techniques also will be discussed. Along with that, there is something called as a calendar spreads, which will be useful when there is something called Vega or IV impact. So there sometimes the IV impact can be expected, where the IV spike or IV is too low, it can go up in the coming few weeks or few days. During that particular point of time, we'll deploy something called as a calendar spread that is related to the IV implied volatility. That also will be discussed. And in the part 5, what we are going to discuss is some of the strong directional strategies. These are actually option buying strategies. Not very important, but during expiry days or during intraday sessions, when we expect any big news, etc., we can deploy these particular strategies. And then we'll come to the most important intraday and expiry day option selling strategies. In the part 2 that we discussed is about option buying intraday strategies. Now here we'll be discussing about intraday and expiry day option selling strategies, plus of course the adjustments, how to adjust in the intraday. Adjustments are easy to do in the intraday trading because there is no risk of a gap up and gap down will not be there. So that also you'll be learning. Then coming to these are some of the stock-based strategies, stock-based option strategies, which are like covered call, cash secured put, and some result-based implied volatility strategies will be there. That also will be covered in the part 5. And in the final part, we'll be covering if any, some of the topics, if anything are pending in the option buying, will get covered. Whatever is pending will be covered in the part 6 when it comes to the option buying. And these topics are the practical topics which I'll be discussing, which are completely based upon my experience and how I presently manage my option selling weekly positions, and how I deploy it, when I'll deploy it, and how much range I'll take it, and when I'll do the adjustments, in which scenarios, all these things, practicalities, and how you can bring down the capital requirement for option selling drastically by buying the deep OTM options, etc., and what options to buy. These all things will be discussed over here, starting with the return expectations from the market, especially from option selling, how much return one can expect and how that can be multiplied with a compounding effect over the period of time. And what are the practical ways to generate passive income? Is it intraday or is it weekly or is it monthly? What kind of adjustments, how much to be range? Should we go for bullish or should we go for bearish or neutral positions? These things, a practical discussion will happen over here. And also, if you want to become a full-time trader, what are the conditions or what are the basic criteria you need to have? how much ROI you need to generate based upon your existing income requirements. Those calculations also will be discussed over here. Then after discussing how I do my option selling positions, then we'll be discussing about maintaining an effective trading journal using a software called as a Notion. So that's completely free. You can use it out. I'll be telling you how to, and also I'll be sharing the reference chart as to reference table as to how you can create it and how you can link it with the trading view, etc. That also will be telling. And finally, the access to the Discord community will be given. So in the Discord community, there will be many channels that can be accessed by all of our students, but for only option students, there will be one more extra channel, which is for options discussion. So in this channel, I'll keep sharing my weekly option selling positions, and people also, whenever they are trading, they'll be sharing their positions as well. And whatever the queries that you will be having in option selling, you can ask it over here. And whenever, if I feel my perspectives and my adjustments also, I'll be sharing it over here. This is not any call advices, buy or sell advices, but this is just to help you understand the practical, how to apply the theory in the practical situations. So these all things will be discussed over here on a regular basis, because I sell options every week in general. So whenever, unless until I'm traveling or busy, I'll not deploy it. But most of the times I do option selling as my main trading strategies. And sometimes intraday also I do. So whenever I actually take weekly option positions, I'll be sharing it over here. Along with this, you'll be also getting an access to all these things, which are price action members who gets this access. So it is like intraday analysis of Nifty and Bank Nifty, and intraday analysis of stocks. So stock analysis will be there, and then swing and positional trading analysis also you will be getting it. And people will be sharing their breakdowns without revealing the P&L, because we don't encourage anybody sharing their P&L screenshots and all. Its main purpose of this community is to share and explore the knowledge and to help others. It's not about showing off or something. So whether they get a profit or a loss, whatever the mistakes that they made, everything will be discussed over here. And that's it. And we'll also having a active trader recognition concept, where the people who are actively discussing in the community will be given some rewards and recognition as well, that you can check it out over here. So these are the benefits that you will be getting it. Now, what are the topics that we're going to cover in this? You got to know. But will it be helpful for you or not? Will you be taking this mentorship or not? Depends upon these questions that you need to ask. So it will be very much helpful even for the beginner options traders who wants to become professional option traders, because you will be getting into basics and then we'll be going into the advanced. So even for someone who doesn't know what is a call option or a put option, he can get an understanding of it. But we suggest that if you are very much beginner in the trading, who don't know even who did not even try it out once in a market for buying and selling, it's not suggested to directly jump into the options trading. First, at least you need to know what is a stock trading. You need to have some idea about options, at least the basics. Then maybe this course can definitely help you. But if you're a very much beginner, just started the trading, it's better to avoid the option selling and option buying also, because it will be a little bit risky if you don't know all the concepts as well. And it requires a little bit higher margin also. Generally for the option buyer, you can do even with 20K, but it's suggested to have at least 50K, because you need to manage the risk properly. It's not about investing everything that you have into one or two trades. In that case, your capital can blow up in no time. So it's like you need to maintain the 2% risk rule and 1% risk rule strategies and then deploy it. In that case, there will be sequentially, you'll be learning it. There will be a process to it. And with proper risk management, you'll be able to slowly grow your capital. It's not like immediately you'll be doubling the capital. So that is the thing. And experienced option traders also can enroll for this particular thing, because let's say if you're experienced options traders who know about the concepts, but in practicality, if it is getting difficult for you to apply those strategies, especially the option selling strategies, if it's getting difficult for you to deploy it or to manage the positions, open positions. So in that case also, this course will completely help you. Then traders who are struggling with option selling concepts, hedging techniques, or how to reduce the margin, how to do the adjustments and firefighting, and when to, especially for intraday, when to enter and when to exit, where to keep stop loss, how to ride the trending markets, when to avoid trading. These all things, if you're having any difficulty in the intraday trading, even in the expiry day strategies or intraday option selling, etc., those things also can be discussed here. So strike price selection, if you're having difficulty in strike price selection, or if you want to have consistent profit doesn't mean that every week you'll be making profit or every day you'll be making profit. It is on an overall level, because let's say if you are reviewing for 1 month or let's say 6 months, your account should grow. So that is meant by consistent profits. It's not like every day you'll be making profits. Of course, any trader, even the experienced trader, will be facing losses. But the thing is, when you're facing losses, you must know when to cut it short. And when you're winning it, you know how to ride that particular things. Yeah, let it be option buying or let it be option selling. So that is what is called consistent profits. So the main thing is your capital should not drastically go into downward direction. It should be stable, and then slowly it should start growing, depending upon how well you deploy the strategies and how well you manage risk, plus your emotions in the live market. And of course, if you're unable to manage the risk, that means if you're having 1 lakh of capital and if you're deploying every total 1 lakh of capital in doing a straddle or a strangle, then that's not a proper risk management. You should not deploy 100% of your capital into one single trade and put the total amount at the risk. And there is no capital that is available for you even to adjust it. Plus, many people, what they'll be having. So let's say if any option selling strategy is asking for 1 lakh rupees, you can even do that with 60,000 also, provided if you know how to make the adjustments. And remaining 40K, you need to keep it in your Demat account so that it will be useful for you whenever you need to start making adjustments. So those things are important, because that is where the thing is, you need to deploy for the same number of lots. You need to make sure that you are deploying less capital, less margin requirement is there, and the same ROI, I mean, the same profit potential or even more profit potential can be there. The main thing is to reduce the margin, because that is when your return on investment will be increased. Then index option traders, of course, this course will be completely useful for either if you're trading in Nifty or Bank Nifty, plus even for the stock options as well. Any options, this course will be useful. And especially for index option traders, because I mostly trade in Nifty and Bank Nifty, especially in case of a Bank Nifty, I'll be trading more. So that for them also, it will be very much useful. And anyone who wants to develop the options trading skills, because options trading is a double-edged sword, where people who doesn't know about it will completely lose the money, and people who know how to make money out of the options trading will keep consistently making money passively. That skill will take time to develop. It's not like within the immediately after the course, you won't become a professional option seller. That of course, you know the ingredients to how to become the professional option seller. But of course will help you till certain extent only. When you deploy it in the live market, and when you know how you are feeling, what are your emotions and what are your risk management techniques, how you are deploying that, then only that it takes time. It's not like a magic which can happen immediately. So once that happens, you will be understanding how to develop your skills in options trading, so that there is a possibility to reduce, to create your own income source that is there. So these are the people who can enroll, which this course will help these kind of traders. And of course, we have more than thousands of feedback from the students. So these are some of the things which are mentioned here. And you can always go for our Instagram page under the story highlights. You can check it out on our page in the story highlights. You will be finding out all the highlighted feedbacks that we got. So till now, we have mentored more than 2,000 students across the price action trading and then options trading batches. And I'll be teaching. I'm founder of Mind Financial Trading, and I'm a qualified chartered accountant with around 4+ years of experience in trading. Especially I trade in price action, and I'm a option seller. So that's it. Hope this got you an insight as to what are the things which are going to get covered. If you feel this could be useful for you, you can enroll. Otherwise, if you're having any queries, you can let us know on Instagram. So thank you.